Welcome to Amplify Love podcast. My name is Natalia Love Angelou. I empower women to own their superpowers and transform their mindsets so they can experience more confidence, clarity, and live their dream life. Welcome. Today's topic is all about healthy boundaries. Setting up healthy boundaries in all of our relationships is so important. When we start honoring ourselves and really paying attention to our time, our space, our emotional, physical, spiritual, sexual states of being, we start shining and teaching others what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in our life. So having healthy boundaries is so important in order for us to up-level and evolve, in order for us to really be mindful of what feels good and what doesn't. Your boundaries are non-negotiable. Remember that. You are non-negotiable. Listen to your heart. Be authentic and start establishing those healthy boundaries, because when you start establishing them, people will either honor and respect you or they'll step out of your life. And you know what? And that is fine, because those that mind don't matter and those that matter don't mind, which means your people, your friends, your family, your inner circle, they're going to understand, they're going to support, and they're going to do their best to honor your boundaries. And those that mind, those that get upset at you and try to manipulate you or make you feel guilty for putting up boundaries, they're not your people. Those are the ones who just fade away, because I know I was a chronic people pleaser. And when I started putting healthy boundaries around me, my friendship circle shifted. And when I started charging my worth and started really paying attention to who I spend my time with, things up-leveled drastically in my life. So remember that. When you are non-negotiable, you're honoring your sovereignty, you're honoring yourself truly. And anytime someone asks you to do something, come from that place in your heart where you really dive deep and see, does this feel right for you or it doesn't? And put up those boundaries, because that's a healthy relationship. I've had friends who also put boundaries for me, and it's important to honor that. We all have a choice, and our choices are going to change from day to day. Sometimes something will feel good for you, and other times it won't. So really pay attention to respect other people's boundaries, and also pay attention to who respects your boundaries. Communication is very important in all your relationships. People are not mind readers, even though sometimes we may think they are. So you must speak up and tell others what your boundaries are. So, for example, if you have someone who wants to have a codependent relationship with you and they call you 5 times a day and they just want to take up all your time, but you know that when you see their call, part of you is like, oh, not again. Then that means you need to have a healthy boundary. So don't ignore that not again feeling. Really set up time and put up a boundary so they know, hey, you know what? You don't need to call me 5 times a day. I see when you call once, and I will definitely call you back when I'm free. And it may not be the same day, it may take 2 days, but that is my boundary. So start paying attention to all your relationships and see what needs to shift and what needs to grow and what needs to just evolve into a new way of being. So there's many different areas in your life that you can start putting boundaries. Here are a few. Physical boundaries. So start paying attention to your personal space. Start seeing what feels good and what doesn't feel good. Are people respecting your privacy, your physical environment boundaries? Or are they like going into your room and going through all your things? Or are you able to leave your diary on your desk and no one is going to touch it because they respect your boundaries? Make it very clear what is your boundaries because people need to know. And when you communicate clearly, they will have no reason to not understand you. So pay attention to that. Your physical boundaries, your personal space. If someone's coming too close to you, touching you too much, and it's something that you desire anymore, speak up. Allow your voice to be heard. It's so important to express yourself. Another one is time boundaries. How much time do you give to your relationships, to your family, your friends, your career, and to yourself? Is there anyone in your life that's overstepping? Anyone in your life that's trying to take too much of your time? Or you notice that they're not respecting your time? They're chronically being late. Or if you say you only have 10 minutes, they want to take an extra half hour to 2 hours. That means they're not respecting your time boundaries. And, that's a very hard thing to do sometimes because I know for myself, I had to really establish this. I used to have friends who, if it's supposed to be a 2-hour thing, they wanted to just be there for 8 hours. And I had to say, I am a mother of 4. I have a lot to do right now and I have to go, but we will connect again later. Because if you really start paying attention to who's around you, and if you say once, okay, I got to go this time, just say I have to leave at 8 o'clock. And then it's like, oh, it's 8:30. Oh, I got to go. And then it's like 9:30 and they're still talking. And then you got to really think about it. Is this person respecting me? Of course, there's going to be relationships where you're just going to flow. And you're going to want to talk with someone for 10 hours too. But at the same time, if they're saying something to you like, oh, I have to wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I really can't have a late night, respect that. It doesn't mean they love you less. So really pay attention to people's time boundaries as well. Another one is sexual boundaries. What are you okay with and what is not acceptable for you? Are you in a monogamous relationship or not? Are you in an open relationship? Really pay attention to your sexual boundaries. What is something you desire and something that feels good for you? And what is something that's just, nope, non-negotiable? This is not what I'm going to do or accept in my sexual relationship. Really pay attention to that because it's important to feel good and feel safe and feel comfortable. I have a lot of friends who are open and who are in poly relationships, and I support them and I hold space for them and I love them. I'm a non-judgmental person. But for my own relationship, I'm monogamous, been married for with my high school sweetheart for 26 years. And it's marriage from first sight, basically. My first and only boyfriend. So put up those sexual boundaries as well. What is something you will accept in your life and in your bed, and something that you don't want to accept? Another boundary is your spiritual boundaries. This is a big one because sometimes people forget that. Is there anyone in your life that is really trying to play with your heartstrings? They know you're a kind-hearted person and they try to manipulate you, make you feel guilty. They may want to suck your energy unknowingly, subconsciously. We call them energy vampires. Or is there anyone in your life that's just complaining all the time, that you feel drained afterwards? This is a form of spiritual or energetic boundaries that you have to start putting in place. I say, if anyone makes you feel guilty, it's an opportunity for you to dive deep within and see what is it in you that needs to be shifted and what is it in you that needs to be healed. So the guilt is ego emotion. That's what it is. It is just a part of you that feels like, oh, there's a little trigger here. I'm feeling guilty. There's a part of me that needs to be heard, that needs to be seen, that needs to be explored. And what part is that? Is that your inner wounded child, the people pleaser, or the little daughter who wants your mother to approve of you? What is it? And really start maybe even writing a journal to start processing your emotions and see what feels good and what doesn't feel good, because your emotional boundaries are so important. I put the emotional, energetic, spiritual boundaries all together, and this is just a few examples. Of course, you can find so much more information online, but when I talk about boundaries, I'm speaking from, my own expertise, my own experiences, and as well, the disclaimer is I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a therapist, I am a holistic healer, I am a mother, I'm a metaphysical minister, and I am sharing from my own cup of my own love cup, I should say. So I'm sharing my own experiences, and if you research online, you'll find more thorough lists and you can explore it deeper. I love sharing, and I think it's important to, listen to everything with that open mind and see what lands in you and what feels good for you, and whatever resonates with you, just explore that. Remember, you are a divine being, and people need to respect your boundaries. When you have healthy boundaries, you will have a healthier life. You will grow in all areas of your life, and people will come to you and they will respect you, and you will feel good and harmonious, and you won't have to feel like, oh no, tell so and so to call you to save you. That happened to my friend, actually. That's why I'm saying this. Like, they were dating on this Tinder app, and they're like, okay, well, if I call you and I say this word, then that means I need you to save me, and so on. And I'm not saying that that's the wrong thing, because you know what? Sometimes that's what you need to do. And that's like a way for yourself to start learning how to put healthier boundaries. But once you start learning and you can speak up for yourself, you could just say straight up to the person without having to have someone call and rescue you. Say, oh, you know what? This was a very wonderful experience, or no, you know what? This doesn't feel good for me. Great meeting you. You don't owe anyone any explanation. So you could just say, okay, I gotta go. Bye-bye. Because sometimes I feel like I used to over-explain myself all the time. So I had to catch myself too. So realize that, no, you don't need to explain yourself. You can say no. And that is a complete sentence. So I am the goddess of acronyms. And I made an acronym for the word yes and the word no. It was very hard for me to start embracing the word no. So I made it stand for new opportunities. When you say no, you're giving yourself a new opportunity to choose you. You're giving yourself a new opportunity to teach others that you have boundaries, that you have standards, that you are non-negotiable. And that new opportunity is going to open new doors in your life. And you're going to grow, and you're going to merge into the timeline where you are embracing all of you fully, authentically, without dimming any parts of you. So say no. Give yourself a new opportunity to take that leap of faith and start having that life of joy without apologizing for your existence. Having that life of full, fun, wild-hearted love in whatever capacity that means to you. Or just say no, because you deserve the opportunity to say no without any explanation, with a period at the end. No, or if you want to be nice, no thanks, this doesn't feel right. I had a hard time saying no. So when people ask me to do favors and things like that, like, oh, can you do this for me? Or, like whatever they ask. I'm not going to give examples all the time. I would just say yes automatically. But then there'd be part of me that's like, oh my God, why did I say yes? I really don't want to do this. Why did I say yes? Now I had to drive that far and I have to do this and that. And it didn't feel good. So pay attention to those things that don't feel good, because that is your spirit, that is your emotional body, that is your divine being trying to get your attention. So I need to have a cushion. That's what I need to do first. Have a cushion phrase to make space between the ask and my answer. So if someone asks, can you do so and so? Instead of saying yes immediately, or even checking my calendar in front of them and saying, oh yeah, I'm free that day, yes, absolutely, I would say, I'm gonna get back to you on this. And that gave me that cushion space to really check in and see, is this something I want to do out of love and joy and peace? Is this something I want to do because I want to help them? Is this something I want to do and it feels good for me to do it? Or is this something I want to do because I feel obligated to do it? I feel like if I don't do this, they're going to get mad at me. And really make that space so you can hear yourself. And then it was easier and easier for me. Easier and easier for me to say no. Easier for me to say, oh, I'll get back to you. Or I'll sit with this and get back to you. Whatever words that you need to give yourself that space. I gotta check my calendar and I'll get back to you. And that is it. And so my affirmation for the word yes is you embracing self. You embracing source. If you resonate with source, say source. If you resonate with your higher self, say self. You embracing self means you're saying yes to the full embodied you, to the full, great, divine essence of your beingness. You're saying yes to your source power, to your creator, to your universe. So saying yes is not saying yes to the person. It's saying yes to you. It's saying yes to, yes, this feels right to me. My heart wants to do this. I want to go here. I want to do that. This feels good. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being a yes person and saying yes to all the asks that come your way. I'm talking about yes to embracing yourself fully. Yes to embracing your source power. So those are my acronyms for no, new opportunities, and for yes, you embracing self. So there's 3 different ways of having boundaries. There's those rigid boundaries, there's porous boundaries, and the last one is healthy boundaries. And this is found by Therapist Aid online. So I was very porous. Porous is someone who overshares personal information. I'm talking like, I remember 7 years ago going to Starbucks, crying to some cashier register because I was going through an emotional time with one of my children, and she was having some mental health issues, and it was just very difficult for me. And I was porous, oversharing everything, and it wasn't healthy. I did not learn how to heal my emotions. And also some examples of porous is also difficulty saying no to others. It's also accepting abuse and disrespect, fear of rejection, being very, very open book to everyone who doesn't earn that. Allowing everyone to take too much of your energy. That was me before. And I did grow up in a home that had physical abuse as a child, so I had a lot of wounds that I had to heal. And then there's others who are very rigid in their boundaries, and they put up those walls so they avoid connecting intimately with others, or you may feel that they're hiding something, or they're very protective of their own personal experiences and spaces and information and so on. And it's good to have boundaries. It's good to have a form of protection shield around you, definitely. But it's also, if you're too rigid, you don't allow love in. When you're too rigid, you keep other people at a distance, and sometimes you may feel not aligned to your divine. You may feel that you don't trust others. You may feel paranoid. You may feel that, no one will understand you and you feel alone. So, rigid, too much of that is not a good thing. Too much of porous is not a good thing. Healthy boundaries is something that we all strive for. Healthy boundaries means, yes, you have those wall up for those people that are like not your people. They're the strangers. You don't have to overshare everything with everyone. You don't have to share your ABCs with all the social media and all your followers, your personal positions or what pictures of intimate things that, I feel sometimes some people share too much stuff on social media, and I won't even go there. I'm laughing in my head right now because sometimes I see these things. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, why are you taking a picture when you're on the toilet? Like, come on, really? People need to see you on the toilet. We all do that. We all go on the toilet, but we don't have to take pictures of it. Anyways, okay, I went there. I did. I was laughing in my head and I had to share with you. Okay, so... and too rigid, like, no, I'm not letting you in. No, thank you. I don't trust you. It's also, not going to really help you have that intimate relationships that you may desire. So having healthy boundaries means that you value your own opinions, that you accept others' no as well as they accept your no. You know what feels right and you listen to your body. You are coming from that embodied state of being. Well, this feels good to me and this is what's appropriate and this is what's not appropriate. So you share with those that are part of your circle. You share with those that, are people that you feel safe with. And you also put up that boundary where not everyone needs to have all of you. Not everyone needs to have all your secrets. Not everyone needs to have all your time. Not everyone needs to be your number one. You get to decide. You get to decide who's your number one. You get to decide who has your personal information. You get to decide who you sleep with. You get to decide what you post about. You get to decide who you have conversations with. And realize that the more and more you start working on yourself, the more and more your boundaries are going to change. And it is okay to change. You're not the same person you were yesterday. You're not the same person you were last week. You're not the same person you were an hour ago. That's the whole process of growth and evolution. Is giving yourself permission to shine fully, allowing yourself to change, allowing yourself to say yes, allowing yourself to say no, allowing yourself to be real, so you don't have to feel overwhelmed, so you don't have to feel the need to please every single person. You don't have to satisfy everyone. And it's okay for people to not, resonate with you. It is okay, because those that really, really love you will accept you for who you are. And that is why I have friends who are in all different relationships. That is why I am this divine, multidimensional, metaphysical healer and teacher and minister, because I see beyond the physical. I see energy. I see the spirit world. I see the connections of the divine being. And I'm here to amplify the love in your life. I'm here to remind you that you are allowed to take up space, that you are a sacred being, and having boundaries is so important here in this earth realm, to have boundaries, and even actually in the spirit realm. Yeah, because sometimes if you're very in tune and you may get divine information, or you may get, for example, spirit from the other side that wants your attention, put up the boundaries. Say, no, thank you. I'm not open for business today. Nope. I open and I close my abilities when I'm doing my healing with my clients. I open up into that portal of magic and mysticism, and I'm seeing all these divine archangels and ancestors and divine beings of light. And then when I'm done with my client, and when I close off my sacred healing space, I that's my boundary. I have a ritual. I open up. I do it, and then when I want to go into the forest and connect with Gaia and connect with all the energies there, I do. But then I also don't want to always. When I'm walking in the grocery store, I'm not going to be that person that's going to say, "Hey, I see your dead grandmother beside you," and no, that's not me. I respect my own space. I respect other people's privacy. I will not go and read everyone's aura all around me when I'm dancing for static dancing. And I've had people wherever I was before, "Can you read my aura? Can you see this? Can you see that?" And I used to always do it. And I'm like, I'm not an entertainer in that sense. And no, you had to book an appointment because I don't do that anymore. I'm not going to give you free readings like that. Come for a full session. But I'm not saying that I'm not going to pull oracle cards in my goddess circles and play with you, because I love that. That feels good for me. But you know what I mean. Have boundaries for your spiritual gifts is what I'm trying to say. And charge your worth. Charge your worth. If you're doing any kind of healing work, remember that that is sacred, that you add value to their life, that you, just by being you and your own level of expertise of holding space and channeling a divine healing light, is a gift. And of course, we live in this world where money matters, and you need money to buy food and to buy personal hygiene products and to light your house and to put fuel in your car. So it's all energy. Money is paper. And have boundaries for your money, as well as charge your worth. Have boundaries. I used to barter all the time with everybody in the beginning of my journey, and there became a time where I was feeling depleted. I was like, okay, this doesn't feel right anymore. I'm going to increase my prices. And slowly I did. And I'm at the place where I feel good charging what I charge. And I own my worth. And I do not give discounts unless, I feel like it. I'm not saying I'm not ever going to, donate some time, because I'm all about giving and receiving. But what I'm saying is that it's a choice. It's not an obligation. That's what I mean. And I guess for another episode, I will talk more about money and energy, because I'm already talking for almost 30 minutes. So stay tuned for the next episodes. And if you have any questions, send me a message. You can follow me on Instagram at The Real Natalia Love Angelou. You can ask me any questions. I'll be sure to answer it. And you can find me online at natalialoveangelou.com. Thank you so much for being here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, and that's the truth. And you are here with me in this beautiful Amplify Love session. I see you, I feel you, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day.